Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is the last part of addressing Sam Shamoun, replying to him. And let's listen to their argument. And it's going to be a nice ending here.
Jibreelk asserts that Shamoun is wrong for quoting Ibn Kathir saying only Allah is Rabb, because other people in the Quran are called Rabb, like kings, supposedly.
Yes, that was, let's go back really fast to his argument here. And basically he was using the Rabb as in the Arabic Bible, and saying, now look what his argument is. This is what he's trying to imply. Basically, again, do these Muslims want us to seriously believe that their Allah is the same Allah worshipped by Arabic-speaking Christians? Do they really want us to accept that Allah spoken of in the Arabic Bible is the same as Allah worshipped by Muhammad, when the Arabic Bible teaches the following, right? Allah is the Father and the Son, and so on and so forth. Now, it seems that Sam doesn't really understand. Why? Because I've never, and again I challenge him, I've never claimed that the Allah of the Quran, that Muhammad worship, is the Allah of the Christians, Arabic-speaking Christians, and for the same matter, the one, the Jewish one. Let's just go back to my video, which refutes his argument, to which Sam is responding. Let's just listen here for a second, because very important.
And basically, and again, do these Muslims want us to seriously believe that their Allah is the same Allah worshipped by Arabic-speaking Christians? No, we don't. Our Allah is Allah, the Rabbil Alameen, the one that created everything. That's why I said, go back, read the Quran. That's who Allah is, not.
So, pay attention for a second. I say that no, we don't believe that. That was my whole point, and that's why I challenged Shamoun to prove where. And this video goes way back. I would say probably a few months now. Yeah, this is April 29th, 2010, as you can see here. This is the video that Sam and Keith are responding to right now. So no, I never claimed, and that's why your argument of the Rabb is not following, because he's basically trying to flip it on and say, two can play the game. If I have quoted Allah and trying to say that he's not Satan, basically, and this is quite complicated. Why? Number one, because it all goes back to who? To Red Missionary. He claimed that Muhammad adopted the word Allah. I showed him that, hey, just because the one God that Muhammad was worshipping, his name is Allah, does not mean that he's the same as the pagan theology of the Quraysh, pre-Islamic Quraysh. Right? And Sam jumped in saying, and then I quoted John 3:16. If that's the case, if just the word Allah, basically, then you calling your own God Allah, your own God Allah, in the Bible, in the Arabic Bible, and therefore you're calling him Satan, just based on the name. Now Sam does not seem to understand that, and that's why he goes to make this weak claim about two can play the game. Let's use the word Rabb. Jesus is called Rabb. If these guys are trying to say that, oh Allah, look, Arabic Christians are using Allah, Muslims are using Allah, therefore it's the same Allah. So he's trying to flip it and say, okay, we can play the game. Look, Jesus is called Rabb. You guys say Rabb. Look, Ibn Kathir is saying Rabb is Allah's name, and so on and so forth. And therefore, are you guys willing to accept that it's, basically Jesus is a God? As a big resounding no. You have misquoted and really did not understand the argument, because I never claimed, again, I don't know for how many times I'm asking you to please prove that I've ever claimed that our Allah is the same as the Christian theology, whatever you guys believe, your Trinity and so on and so forth. Now, this is where he takes it to a different level. If that doesn't work, let's move it to a different, part. And that's what missionaries were, right? They swing from side to side, from place to place, pick whatever they can, any ambiguity, anything that they can pick from and make an argument out of. Look what he's saying.
But then Jibreelk later says, Arab, the one who created everything, is God.
I didn't say later. I just said right there, explaining who we believe Allah to be, Rabbil Alameen.
Our Allah is Allah, the Rabbil Alameen, the one that created everything. That's why I said, go back, read the Quran. That's who Allah is, not.
Go back, read the Quran. That's who Allah is, not
the Son, not the Father, and so on and so forth, right?
Not the Son, not the Father, not this. So I'm actually telling you that he's not the Son, not the Father. So your argument about quoting Hebrews 1 about Jesus, who's the Son, okay, who is the Son, who supposedly laid down the foundation for the heavens and the earth, right? I'm just said that no, he's not the Son, not the Father, We believe He's the one and only creator of heavens and the earth and so on. That's why I'm telling people, go read the Quran. I'm telling them about Islamic theology. However, you pick this little statement of mine, Rabbil Alameen, the creator, and say, what do you say? Well, it seems that for Rabb to be accepted as deity, it just has to be Rabb with, alongside
Jibreelk
creator.
later says Arab, the one who created everything, is God. This would indicate that if someone is called Rab in relation to being creator, then that is the criterion for deity.
Well, if that is the case, before we put Jesus on the platform for a second, then we have to think about so many other people here who have claimed to be lords and gods. And I have a whole list here, and I don't want to name all of them, but there's a whole list, including who? Lord Vishnu, who according to the Hindus, he is the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who laid the foundation. So is that the proper criteria, Keith? I never claimed that. Now, of course, hold on a second, because this is an interesting point. Anyone who would come and claim, even who would be, for example, Johnny Bravo, and he comes, I'm the creator of the world, Johnny Bravo. The issue is not Rab associated to, basically, Rab, the creator of the world, or Rab, the word Rab being associated with creation, and that is the criteria for deity, as you're trying to say right here. Let's listen to you once again.
Criterion for deity.
Criteria
well, if that
for
is
deity.
The case, then this refutes your argument.
So that's the criterion for deity. So if Johnny Bravo comes and say, I'm the creator of the world, I'm Rabbil Alameen, or Rabb, the creator of the world, does that give him criteria, and that is that he is God? If Lord Vishnu or Haile Selassie or many other people and demigods that I have a whole list of, that people need to take have to stay in line and wait before, or Ali, for example, that some Muslims have claimed him to be the creator of heavens and the earth. We even have this issue, man, of certain Muslim groups who are have deviated and claim that Ali is a trinity. There's Ali, there's Muhammad, and there's Salman al-Farsi, and they're a trinity, and they're God. And no, anyone who comes and claims that he is a creator, right? They have to bring proof. Not that they're just called Lord and he's a creator or so on and so forth. That is such a weak argument and such a pathetic argument. Let's keep listening to you for a second.
Because Jesus is called Rab in relation to him creating all things. This is what Shimon's paper argued in Hebrews 1:10-12, where the Lord Rab, Jesus, laid the foundations of the earth, applying Psalm 102:25-27, where Yahweh lays the foundations of the earth to Christ. Maybe you should have read his paper more closely, jibreelk, because Jesus is the Rab who created everything and is therefore God.
Now, Keith, that is something that is part of a different discussion. Again, it is just an assertion and a statement. It is said about Jesus that he is Rab, the one that laid the foundation. That is, as I said, it's not part of a discussion, something different. However, as I said, the issue of Rab related to creation, that is not the criteria, because anyone can claim that, right? That have to be subjected to scrutiny and so on and so forth. And we have a long list of people who have claimed that long time ago, after and before Jesus. Now, just to show you again the weakness of the scholarship of these people, and that they claim victory beforehand, and they throughout their blogs and on their home pages claiming victory, talking about I'm actually showing what you're saying, showing your argument. I've shown you, and again, I think in this video is the fourth time that I'm actually asking you to prove that I've ever claimed that Allah of Muhammad is Allah of the Bible, ever. And watch next.
Besides, jibreelk's comment demonstrates that he either didn't bother to read Ibn Kathir carefully, or if he did, then he is simply employing deception and is therefore being a good Muslim at this point.
Now, couldn't you just stop there and just said he's just employing deception, and we could have analyzed that? You have to say that I'm a good Muslim because I'm deceptive. Now, that's a very cheap shot. Why? Number one, because I'm not deceptive, and I've showed it throughout these videos. Where did I ever deceive anyone? We're going to show about Ibn Kathir, if I've deceived anyone, because everyone can read. And that is such a cheap shot.
The fact is that Ibn Kathir clearly said that Allah alone is Rab. Note his words again, quote, when it is Allah.
Okay, watch. Ibn Kathir,
Alone, the word Rab is used.
Ibn Kathir says, Ar-Rab is the owner who has full authority over his property. Ar-Rab. Now, if Sam and Keith would have read that clearly and carefully, as they're accusing me of not doing, then they would have probably recanted from their initial argument about Jesus. Linguistically means the master of the one who has authority to lead. All of these meanings are correct for Allah. When it is alone, the word Rabb is used only for Allah. Now, Ibn Kathir here, watch this. He doesn't give a reference to the Quran or anything, that he's talking about the Quran. So it is very ambiguous. I would assume that he's actually talking just about common day usage, that would be more appropriate to use Rabb only, but he does not make that as a, basically that everyone has to use only Rabb. As we've shown in my previous video, that in Surah Yusuf, Rabb, people are called Rabb. As we've shown that other things are called Rabb. But wait for a second. As for other than Allah, it can be used to say Rabbul Dar and so on and so forth, the master of such and such an object. So obviously he's talking here about what? He's talking about the language. Why? Because he's talking Rabbul Dar. Now, he does not give any quotation from the Quran. Further, was reported that Ar-Rab, difference between Rabb and Ar-Rab, is Allah's greatest name. Another cheap shot comes in right now from Sam.
Used only for Allah. Further, it was reported that Rab is Allah's greatest name.
Because Keith says Rab, he's making a mistake. It's not. It's Ar-Rab is Allah's greatest name.
Further, it was reported that Rab is Allah's greatest name. Ibn Kathir clearly says that when Rab stands alone, it is only used for Allah. Therefore, jibreelk either didn't understand what he read, or is simply lying, plain and simple. This further
Or the third option is that Sam really has no clue about Arabic, has no clue about what he's reading, and I'm not gonna go and play the same kind of cheap game, calling him deceptive. He's just Sam. He just doesn't. He's just jumping to conclusions without being careful, without taking his time to really be careful. And I've used that in my previous videos. I said, Ibn Kathir's comment, it is his opinion. It is quite ambiguous, and that he's actually, and I would say from my standpoint, that he's really not talking about, in that case, the Quran, because he's not given any example. And Ibn Kathir is a commentator in the Quran, a memorizer in the Quran, therefore he knows that there's other people called Rabb in the Quran. But
if there are other individuals in the Quran that are called Rabb, then this only proves that both Allah and Muhammad are contradicting themselves.
Wait a second, Keith. Hold on. Let's listen to who do you say first that claims that Rabb is used?
Alone, the word Rabb is used. Said that Allah alone is Rabb. Note his a good Muslim at this point. The fact is that Ibn Kathir clearly said that Allah.
Thank you for answering us our question. Ibn Kathir said. So now, do you want to redraw your statement back for a second? Let's listen.
Ibn Kathir clearly says that when Rabb stands alone, it is only used for Allah. Therefore, jibreelk either didn't understand what he read, or is simply lying, plain and simple.
Keep in mind, Ibn Kathir says.
This further implies that if there are other individuals in the Quran that are called Rabb, then this only proves that both Allah and Muhammad are contradicting themselves and are guilty of shirk.
Wait a second. Wait, Sam, you're getting a hold of yourself. You just said that Ibn Kathir says. So that, without having, and I want to apologize to Ibn Kathir's dad that, and basically I said this statement is ambiguous or not. I'm just going to put that on the side for a second, because it's just his statement. Now let's look at Sam's argument. He's saying further it implies that Allah, if there's other people called Rabb, which he knows that there are because I showed him, that would show that Allah and Muhammad are contradicting themselves. How? When you just said that it was Ibn Kathir saying that Rabb when used alone is only for Allah. Can you prove us that Allah and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Rabb is only for Allah? No one else will be called Rabb, never in the Quran, anywhere. And then of course we've showed in the Quran that there is other than Rabb. So can you show us anywhere where you can claim it? So you can actually claim a contradiction and like what? Say that they're committing shirk. Wow, that is so scholastic. That is an amazing attempt, an amazing argument. I have to give it to you. So, Sam, I'm asking you again. You've just said here, so now you might want to reconsider whether you want Keith to debate for you, to be your proxy, because he's making some major mistakes here. Major mistakes.
Further, it was reported that Rab is Allah's greatest name. Ibn Kathir clearly says that when
Ibn Kathir clearly says, thank you again. I just wanted to show you. And then again, you're saying,
complete lying, plain and simple. This further implies that if there are other individuals in the Quran that are called Rab, then this only proves that both Allah and Muhammad are contradicting themselves and are guilty of shirk, since they apply one of the exclusive names of Allah to certain creatures, thereby violating Islamic monotheism.
So, again, I'm going to say it, I think, the third time. Please show us. Because you just said Ibn Kathir states, and then you're saying that Muhammad and Allah are contradicting themselves and committing shirk. That would be if they would have said what you've accused Ibn Kathir of saying. If they would have had Ibn Kathir's opinion. But they don't. Prove to us, where does it say that? And that's why, further to enforce my initial statement about Ibn Kathir making basically a general statement about the usage of the word Rabb, because he does not give any proof from the Quran, any hadith or anything. It's his opinion, probably most likely about the word, the usage in language and in daily speaking. It would not be appropriate to call someone Rabb. Does not mean that it would cause shirk or anything like that. And again, it is his opinion and not that of Allah and Muhammad. Now, again, Sam, do you really want Keith to debate for you? Or do you want to come forward? Because I'm sorry to make this, but it is not that hard to record your voice and to make your own arguments. Then Keith can do the screenplay for you. Not a problem. Because he's making major mistakes. And based on your article, you're also making some major mistakes that we have refuted throughout this series. Please, everyone, go see all 5 series. And now, of course, for the final,
also called Tawheed. Well, those were the main arguments that I thought were necessary to address dealing with Allah being Satan and the Arabic Bible. Thank you for listening to this presentation. It should be quite clear that although jibreelk is confident and proud, he is not at the same level as Shimon with respect to apologetics.
It is quite clear, and this is probably the only thing that I agree with you, Keith, except maybe we're a different direction. That yes, I am not at the same level as Sam Shamoun. Definitely not. And I am sure, inshallah, that the people who are watching this will be able to understand the arguments, and they'll have their own brains and minds that God gave them, and they will be able to see the truth of all things. Assalamu alaikum.